Hello, my name's Dan Dodds. I'm the principal attorney at the Dodds Law Firm in Surprise, Arizona. One of the questions that people will often ask me is, well, should I file a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13? Is a Chapter 7 better than a 13, or is filing a 13 better than a Chapter 7? On its face, they're two completely different animals. Chapter 7 is what we call a liquidation, bankruptcy, and anything that isn't protected by an exemption that you'd have equity in, they could take it and sell it and satisfy some of the debt you owe your creditors. But it's brutal to creditors, and it's the cheapest form of bankruptcy, and it's the fastest form of bankruptcy. 13s are more expensive, and they typically take a bit longer. People are in them from 3 to 5 years, but you'll see there's some benefits to that, in that you can do things in a 13 that a Chapter 7 you could not do. So let me kind of address quickly, if typically most people are going to be best served if they file a Chapter 7. And if these kinds of characteristics are present in their program, they have primarily unsecured and dischargeable debts, such as credit cards, medical bills, attorney's bills, you name it. Anybody that sold you something that isn't secured is an unsecured creditor. Personal loans. You borrowed them from somebody. Judgments that are against you, or wage garnishments where they're sucking up to 25% of your net take-home pay every week period out of your paycheck. And for those people where most, if not all, of their personal property, such as their furniture, their jewelry, their guns, their tools, is all protected by specific Arizona bankruptcy exemptions. So that really limits the downside of filing for Chapter 7 because it's faster and cheaper. That's one I suspect that 85% of the people that can qualify for a Chapter 7 are doing the happy dance, because it's fast, it's cheap, and they're now beginning to start to put their financial future back together, and they're not constantly being drugged down by this overwhelming debt that's drowning them. On the other hand, filing for Chapter 13 bankruptcy protection may allow you to do some things in a 13 you could never do in a 7. Well, what might those things you can do in a 13 look like? Well, catch up on past due home payments, or car payments, or trailer payments, any kind of payment that's on a secured item that the creditor could repossess it or foreclose on it. And that's typically homes and vehicles. To prevent foreclosures and repossessions that are about to happen or in the process of happening, you can stop the foreclosure, you can stop the repossession, and you can pay what you owe them over an extended period of time so that they don't repossess or foreclose on your property. Another one is the ability to keep non-exempt property that would have been sold in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy to give to your unsecured creditors. Unsecured creditors in a Chapter 13 are typically going to get paid something, but they don't get any interest, and they usually get very minimal repayment on the amount of money that the creditors owe them. My experience has been somewhere maybe between nothing to 30 to 50% maybe, is all those creditors are ever going to see. In 13, you can eliminate some debts that cannot be discharged in a Chapter 7. And I'll just tell you that, but I'm not going to go into it because it's much more detailed. But if that applies, yes, Chapter 13 can help you. If you have non-dischargeable debts, such as spousal maintenance problems, alimony, child support problems, state or federal or city tax issues, you wish to cure your mortgage, or you're behind on your vehicle payment but you don't want to lose it, Chapter 13 can be a very viable option that allows you to keep anything you have and cure the problem so they can't come take it from you. And if you are in a situation where you have a very high disposable income, but nonetheless you got more debts and you have high disposable income, Chapter 13 can help you immensely. So I hope that gives you some ideas of, well, which Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 is the best to file. That depends on what your situation is, what's best. But Chapter 7 is the most popular, fastest, most brutal on the unsecured creditors form of bankruptcy because they're going to get nothing. Chapter 13 is less brutal, but it has a lot of flexibility so that you as the debtor are not wiped out like you might be in a Chapter 7. Well, I hope this information will be helpful to you. If you have any additional questions, give my office a call. They'll be glad to find a time for you and I to get together to talk about your situation. And I hope you have the rest of the day will be a wonderful day for you.